Hello, what's up guys, your guy Promzy once again. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about investment, finance and retirement plans for internationals, usually from the African community, who move to Germany to continue their education or for a better lifestyle. I wish I had more knowledge in this field or very knowledgeable in this field where I can share my experience, but unfortunately I'm not. So we are going to leave the platform to someone who is, so they can take us through this section.
Hi, my name is Arnold Mbayo. I'm an engineer, certified life coach in the area of financial intelligence, personal development, career, spiritual development, and much more. And it's a pleasure to be in this platform today to share with you something that I think will enrich your life. So today I want to talk with you about an interesting topic. Stick with me. I titled this Wake Up Now or Wait Until Never. A hidden cost of comfort in Germany. Now this is an important perspective to have. Many live in Germany, many come to Germany, but unfortunately they come and they sleep. And I want to show you why it's important for you and for me to wake up now if we have been sleeping till this time. And also the hidden costs that we enjoy in Germany, the so-called comfort and the repercussion of all of these. The first thing I want to do is to ask a question that many people need to ask themselves. Why not here? Why can't I be rich in Germany? Why can't I be prosperous in Germany? Why can't I make it in Germany? Now, what are the things, when you look in the African community, that are hindering us of really standing out in Germany? Whether you go to Berlin, Hamburg, Düsseldorf, Munich, you might find, individuals that are doing well, but as a whole, why is it that we are not known for anything significant in this land? And the first thing that I've discovered is the language barrier. Many people underestimate the importance of learning the language. In Germany, if you don't learn the language, you will not be able to run fast. You will struggle. You will have to depend on people to fix things for you, to read your letters, to translate things for you. And even if you come here as a missionary, right, and you have a church and you have a calling upon your life, if you do not incorporate the language, you're going to build a community or a church of people that speaks your preference of language. And that is how your growth also will be. So learning the language is very, very important if you come to Germany. The second thing that I discovered that hits people very hard is racism and discrimination. Many people don't know how to handle that. You can handle that legally. Yeah, right. You can also do that spiritually, right? But also personally. What can you do? Is it every remark, every comment that you have to apply or reply to? So I noticed that many people are or they find themselves in the bubble of, always feeling inferior to the Germans because of their skin color. But you can turn your disadvantage to your advantage. And if you can master and learn how to deal with racism and discrimination properly, you will have an advantage. Another thing that I see is the lack of network and support. So people come to Germany, right? And they don't network, they don't find a community where they can get access information. And all these lacks and all these things, they hinder our growth, they hinder our progress, and also they hinder our, so to say, our elevation in the country like that. You need a community, whether you're in the church, whether you have a study community, whether you have a community of sport, physical education, or whatever. You just need people who have been here before you, who can give you certain information so that you don't need to struggle or, just suffer from not having certain information. Another thing is the system is quite complicated in Germany, right? It's not always straightforward. If you're looking for something specific, you might need to take step A, from which again you take step A plus 1, and then you take another step. So it's not just one answer that gives you everything at once. If you're looking, for example, as a student, right, and you are looking for accommodation here, or you're looking for how can I have my document verified, you might need to take various steps. And for some people it's quite challenging, right? Because over time they're stressed out, they're fatigued, they're tired, they're looking for the easy way out. And here they might tell you go here, and then go here, and then you get what you need to go there. And that kind of that kind of progress is for many people too complex. But stick with me, there is still more to come. Some people think, well, since I'm only temporary here, there is nothing I can do anyways. So I just do the little I can and then I leave. And this small thinking, even if you're here for 6 months or for 1 year, you can have an impact. You can do something that when you're gone, you'll be remembered by. You can leave a legacy behind. But this type of thinking, well, after all, when I'm 70, I'm going back to my home country. It can hinder a person of really spreading their wings in a place like Germany, where some people don't have access to capital and funding. They have a lot of vision, they have a lot of ideas, they can draft plans, business plans, and so many things, but they don't have access to capital and funding because they're not eligible for it, or they just don't know how to go about it. And for many people, they just pack up everything and say, well, that's it. I take my vision, my plan to another country, to another place where it will be accepted. But hey, look, the thing is, you may not have access to funding or capital there too. So there are ways that you can go about these things, and you need to look carefully into them. For others, they just fear failure, and legal trouble. Oh, I don't want to have nothing to do with the police, nothing to do with court and all these things. Oh, if I do this, then I'll be sued and the risk is too high. So fear is what keeps people back. And these are things that we need to look in our lives as Africans when we come here in Germany. Now, there is a saying that says, rest is sweet, but the loss is deep. And let me just borrow a verse from the Bible, and I'm going to read it out loud here. It says, how long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man. Look, poverty is an armed man that comes upon people when they don't even think of it, right? Today you might be fine, but when the armed man comes and robs what you think you have, suddenly you find out you're without nothing. And so, because of that, you and I need to take action, and we need to take it fast. Now, I'm going to share with you the 5 basic comforts in Germany that you enjoy when you come to Germany. The first is the legal residency, right? Germany should be one of the simplest countries in Europe here where you can get your legal residency. There have been a lot of upgrade on the law to make it more easier now for people to get the legal residency. And it might look complicated, but it's really not, to go from being a student and then to, the conditions that you have to fulfill and then to get your legal residency. Or if you're not a student, you're working and, however you came here, maybe through a means that allowed you to work here, you can also go from there to get your legal residency. It's a comfort that people enjoy here. Because it's not too complicated. There is a lot of bureaucracy surrounded around it, but as a whole, the process, I don't think is really complicated, right? So once you get that, you're eligible to do a lot of things. And this is something definitely you should pursue. The second thing is the social system, right? That you enjoy here. So let me say it like this. Everybody should have access to medication, to treatment, and there should just be a basic level of that in the life of everybody. So we have one of the strongest social system here, I can say. And once you have access to that system, of course, you will notice that a lot of things where in another country you will have to pay a lot of money to get that simple treatment. You see here that the health insurance will step in for you, and pay all these things. So this is definitely a second basic comfort that you enjoy here in Germany. And the third one is that you can have regular income. Yeah, once you're working, right, every month, they pay you your income. You don't have to worry. In other places, people don't have regular income. If there's no work, then there is nothing for them. But here you have your holidays, it's been paid for you, they pay you during your holiday, and give you even some other benefits. It's one of the things that people enjoy. Then we have the housing offers. Depending whether you're staying in the north, the south, the west, and the east of Germany, there is a lot of offers to renting, buying, or living in shared apartments, whether it's private person renting it out, or maybe it's part of the housing system in that particular city you are. You have a lot of offer to get housing. And the last one is consumer comfort, right? You can buy a lot of things for yourself that suits your interest, smartphone, computers, and just what you need, for eating, and so much of things that we consume here in Germany. So you see, these 5 things are very basic in Germany, and but they are also a trap if we just blindly accept those things and we don't really think of tomorrow. Now let me say it like this. I have a graph here, right? So on the x-axis we have the working years, and then on the y-axis we have the income and standard of living. So let me just say 0 is when you were born, all right? So many of us, we came to Germany at a year X, which you can see here. And when you came to Germany, you started going to university, started learning, student colleague, and all these things. And eventually, you finished from that university. And you started working, right? So your income was increasing, maybe because you were doing some extra certifications, and you kept on going. You told your boss at work, hey, look, I have educated myself in this area and I need more money. And he was giving you more money, right? At another time, you changed your job. You said, well, you know what? I've been here for so long. Let me just change my job. And you changed your job. And you kept on going. Your salary kept increasing. And your working power, however, which was 100 when you were 0, keeps reducing, right? That is what you find above. So the working power is reducing as you're growing older. It means the things you could do 10 years before, you don't have the same strength and energy to do them today. And then you reach the age of retirement, which according to today, in Germany is 67. And what you were earning before, maybe 20,000 euros a month, and you were always celebrating, having fun, buying people stuff, gifts, sending money back home to your families in Africa, and taking care of your siblings, paying for their education, and doing so many things that you think was right for you to do, enjoying your money. And now you reach pension, and suddenly there is a pension gap. And all you get during that pension is 47% of your today's income. and you've built a lifestyle around your income that you had before, right? But today it's no more enough for you. And suddenly, when you reach that pension age, you just discover that you can't afford the things you could afford before. The people are saying, hey, what up? We wait for the money. And you're like, I can't. I only have 47% of what I used to have. And it's not even enough to take care of me because you've built a massive lifestyle around that 20,000 you were getting before. So this is the reality in Germany that we have today. In Germany, we have actually 3 pillars of pension system. One is the public pension, which started after the Second World War. And it was very good because at that time you had a lot of children, a lot of people that have kids, right? And they were to take care of the older people, right? So they work, a lot of people working, and they take care of the older people. That trend has been reversed. As it stands today now, every family will need at least 6 children. Every family would need 6 children to reverse that trend back. Now that's not realistic, right? You're not thinking of having 6 children. So the public pension is actually fading. And then secondly, we have the company pension. So if you're working in the company, they will offer you to have pension. They can pay full, or they can say to you, you know what, you pay half, we pay half, right? But that also is not very stable in itself. And then thirdly, you have the private pension, which, depending on where you do it, very flexible. You pay a certain amount, and then it's being invested for you, maybe in ETFs or whatever, different types of possibilities that you have there, right? So these are the 3 pension systems that we have. Now, what does the media say? I don't know if you read news, but I'm just showing you right now here. Look at this. This is an excerpt from a newspaper, Malteser.de, and even the Germans themselves, they are writing about these problems. The thing is, many Africans don't really read German news. They might read all this BBC, CNN, and all the news that is from where they come from in their home country, but few really upgrade and update themselves through the news. Now look at this one. I have this one from the Bild, and they're thematizing the same problem. And here's another one, or the Tide. They talk about that every 4 person after 45 years is going to get less than 1,300 euros in pension. So they're alarming us that, hey, wake up. Don't depend on the social system, which is good, right? In comparison to other countries, we don't have that. But still yet, what was once set in place is fading out, is no more sustainable or reliable. So they're telling us, wake up before it's too late. Now, I'm going to play a video here of the current president. I got this from his Instagram account, where he is answering questions. And there is a young person that asked him a question, and let's see his reply to that question.
Ein vermutlich jüngerer User fragt, sollte ich mir jetzt schon Sorgen um die Rente machen? Meine Antwort ist nein, vorausgesetzt, ich darf du sagen, wenn es ein jüngerer ist, du tust in jungen Jahren genug für deine Altersversorgung, verlass dich nicht nur auf die gesetzliche Rentenversicherung, ein ganz klein bisschen zu sparen im Monat, 10 Euro, 20 Euro, 50 Euro und das über eine lange Zeit einfach festlegen, sichert ein sicheres Alterseinkommen und damit kann man gar nicht früh genug anfangen.
Alright, so if I should just summarize what he said. So they asked him that, do I need to worry about my pension? And he said no. But then he flipped it. Provided that you do something now for your pension. That is to save maybe 10 euros, 20 euros, 50 euros. And you put it somewhere where money can be generated. And he warned, don't depend on the public pension. So these are the information that are out there that we need access to. So what does this mean for you and I? Well, we need to build, and we need to build with purpose so that we can rest later with peace. It means, number one, we need to have system awareness in our communities, in our African shops, in our churches, in our institutions, in our counseling institutions, and all the things that we're doing here. We need to create awareness among ourselves, on our platforms, social media, in the families, wherever you are. We need to alert one another about the danger that is lurking. The second thing is we need to have money talks, right? You may not really hear that in the school if you grew up here, primary school, secondary school, whatever. You may not really hear about money talks, and even in the families, right? People may not even talk about money like that because maybe they are just stressed out. It's a topic that already they're trying to just talk it in and say this is very difficult, but we need to talk about that. We need to talk about money. Money is that's our world evolves around that. It doesn't mean your personal world may evolve around that, but that's just how the world works, right? So we need to talk about that. It brings problems in homes. Many marriages have crashed today because of money issues, right? Many families are divided because of money issues. So we need money talks, more seminaries of money, inviting people who are financially literate who can educate us about this topic. The third thing is we need to grow our skills. When we talk about money, money has been made through skill. That's one way to make money. So we need to grow our skills, our knowledge first, yes, but then the skill that we need to develop so that we also can grow financially. There are workshops for that, there are seminars for that. We need to be specific and intentional about that we want to make money. And the other thing is we need to have proper pension planning, that we plan for our pension on time, and we start, you get all these letters and then they tell you, well, you have worked for this many years, this is what you will get if you stop today, and if you continue till you reach the age of retirement, this way. So don't just look at these letters and put it back and then say, yeah, okay, that's good. Now look at it, calculate, count, and see where will you be, and if you reach 67 as of today, or if you stop working today. Could you take care of yourself? Could you take care of your family? Could you take care of your kids? Your spouse. So we need to have proper pension planning. Another thing that we need to look at is asset building, right? So it's good to have money, but it's better to have assets. You can have assets here. You can have assets wherever in the world, but we need to see how can we have assets, how can we access assets, how can we protect assets, how can we duplicate and multiply assets and increase in it. So we need to build in that direction also. Not to make it long, what is the conclusion of what I've just talked? We need to wake up before poverty steals our future. And poverty is moving fast. Now there are people that are good today, but they forget that there's old age poverty. And there are many people that were good, but now they are suffering from old age poverty. You see them picking bins from the cans. You see them bringing all these bottles, and then trying to live to the supermarket and trying to live by that. Because they did not imagine that there is something called old age poverty. So we need to be wise. We need to be among those who have understanding of the times and what we need to do at this specific time. If not, we will fall victim also to old age poverty. How long will you sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? So there's a question you need to ask yourself. If you've been sleeping financially, if you've been sleeping in the comfort of what we have in this country, you need to wake up before that same comfort chokes you and chokes your future. Now, secondly, we need to evaluate the cost of comfort on our lives. Now, if I'm enjoying all these 5 things that I've showed you, what am I giving up for that? Am I giving up my mind to think, my planning to prepare for the future? So we need to evaluate. Now, some people, they are lost in all these things. As soon as they have the legal residency, they just do what they want to do, right? They just go into all type of things and just living a promiscuous lifestyle. So, but we need to evaluate the cost of this comfort on our habits, on our goals, on our confessions, consecrations, commitment, and on our family, right? Are they doing us good today? Are they still in line with our future goals, plans, visions? And we need to evaluate, what are they doing with us, right? Are they making us proud? Are they making us careless? Are they making us just to become, just spending anyhow and not thinking of tomorrow? The other thing is we need to know that our working power is proportional to our age and our earning, right? So today you're young, you can still increase, you can still grow, but the time comes when increasing your salary from that same job may be difficult, because now you're an expert in that field and you're already earning, so to say, almost the maximum of what you could get from that company, and you need to know that your working power is reducing every year, every day, and you need to be smart about making money. We need to acquire financial help and invest intelligently. All right, so you can just contact me later and we can just have a conversation. You can just scan the QR code or write me an email or just text me. You can have free consultation, one-on-one coaching. We can just talk about business ideas, and just if you're interested in having a network, want to be among professionals, we can discuss that. Apart from that, we do personal development and all other kind of life coach niches. Thank you very much for listening and have a good day.
Okay, so we've come to the end of this video, and I wish you find this video very educative and informative. If you did, not forget to like, subscribe, and put a nice comment in the comment section. Like always, the name is Promzy, and I'm signing out. Peace.